Today's practice is going to be a nice quieting practice of seated forward bends, twists, and side bends. It should help prepare you for a good night's sleep and clear the stress of the day away. For today's practice, you're going to need a belt. To begin, lie on your back. Have your belt accessible, and just begin knees bent, bottom of the feet to the floor. And then just for a moment or so, elbows on the ground, take the hands to the hip points. Relax the temples, relax the eyes, relax the jaws. And just for a moment, allow the abdomen to feel soft, allow the pelvic bones to feel broad. Good. And then just nice and easy, draw your right knee into the chest. Hold on to your right shin bone, knee's gonna stay bent. And then reach your left heel out across the room towards the front of your sticky mat. Good, couple of breaths. Let the eyes be nice and soft, jaws be relaxed, inner ears quiet. And then retaining that, draw the right knee a little bit more deeply into the trunk. And as that right knee hugs into the body, extend the left heel a little bit further, getting a stretch in the left thigh and a nice fold in the right hip joint. Good, take another in-breath here. And then as you exhale, just switch legs. Nice and simple, hug the left knee into the chest. Reach through the right heel. Good, make it pretty easy, allow it to be fairly quiet. Good. Feel the back body resting on the floor. Let the eyes nestle into their sockets. One more cycle of breath, hugging the left knee in, reaching the right leg away. Good. And then switch one more time. Left leg out, right leg in. Grab your belt, and then take the belt and lasso your right arch with it. If you don't have a yoga belt at home, any regular belt's totally fine. Okay, reach the right leg up. As you'll see, holding a belt is much preferable for most bodies than holding the foot. A lot of times to hold the foot, you get too much restriction and tension in the throat and chest, right? And in order to relax, we want the lungs and the heart area to be soft and broad and have their space. Okay. Couple of breaths in Supta Padangusthasana. Emphasize elongating through the bottom heel, rotating the bottom thigh slightly in, and of course, reaching the top heel towards the ceiling. Couple of breaths, observe the sensations that are present, and just allow yourself to mindfully remove the tension from the back of the right leg. Good, one more long, smooth in-breath, releasing the back of your legs more deeply. Then as you exhale, release that side. Extend the right leg towards the front of your mat. Hug the left knee in and lasso the foot. Good. Reach the left leg up. Good. And again, take the emphasis to the bottom leg for a moment. Reach the bottom of that leg, the back of that right heel, a little bit further. Spiral the back thigh bone in. And then elongate through that top leg thoroughly without getting into a tug of war with your own body. Right? If you're a little bit more restricted in the back of the legs, the leg doesn't have to be vertical. Good. Draw one more deep inhalation from the nose all the way down to the hip joint. Then on an exhale, release the leg, remove the belt, set it to the side, and hug the knees into your chest. Good. Now just for a moment, slowly rock a little bit side to side. Good. Feel the broadness of the back body and just still settling in after perhaps a long day. Good. One more inhalation. And then as you exhale, roll to your left side. Roll to your left side. Roll into the hands, sit up. And then just nice and simple, sit so that your feet face the front of the sticky mat, legs straight. Good. For a couple breaths, just simply press the fingertips down on either side of the hips. Elongate up through the waistline and broaden your chest. Good. Just nice and easy. Top of the sacrum draws in, chest lifts up, collarbones are wide. Good. Another inhalation here, just feeling the reach through the legs and the space in the toes. And then as you exhale, cross the right shin in front of the left shin. And take a simple seated forward bend, Sukhasana. Now be mindful always, but in particular today's sequence, that it's a quieting sequence, so there's no reason to over-effort any of the postures. It should be nice and quieting and soothing. All right, today be more interested in relaxing your nerves and mind than overstretching your body. Good, couple breaths. That said, root down through the thighs, lengthen out through the waistline. As you observe the sensations that are present in your body, draw your breath into them. Right? Notice which hip, the right hip or the left hip, has more sensation. Take one more cycle of breath. Good. And then nice and slowly roll all the way back up. Take your right fingers behind you. Take your left hand to your right knee. Elongate up through the waist. And just a simple cooling twist. Good. Let all of the facial skin relax down towards the throat, even as the chest stays buoyant. Good. One more inhalation here. Then as you exhale, take a forward bend, walking out and over your right knee. Good. Couple of breaths. Again, don't worry about how flexible your body is or isn't. This is just for you to go inside and be quiet this evening. Root down through the left hip. Elongate out through the left ribs. And then as you feel that sensation in the left side body, coat that left side body with your breath. Good, nice and quiet. One more deep inhalation into the left hip. And then as you exhale, come all the way up to sitting. Then nice and simply, just cross the second shin in front. Good. With that second shin in front, walk the hands forward, elongating the waist into a forward bend. Good. Couple of breaths. Now's not the time to fight with the body. Okay. Just create as much length and as much space and as much opening as your body can comfortably give you for now. Good. We want to trust that we can go deeper in the practice through consistency, not force. Good. 2 or 3 more breaths. Observe the sensations that are present. Practice breathing into those sensations. Practice letting mental tension drop. Good. Then with the next inhalation, come all the way up. Once again, right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Once again, a twist now to the second side. Elongate up through the waistline. Turn the top of the chest, rotate. Okay. Now the head and neck turn much more easily than the rest of the spine. So be willing to turn the head and neck, but don't turn them more than the chest is able to rotate. Good. Another cycle of breath, drawing up through the waist. And then just a nice mild rotation for the trunk. Good. On the exhale, release partially and forward bend over your left knee, walking the arms out in that plane. Good. As you feel the sensation of the body, breathe down into the right waist, into the right back ribs, into your right hip. Good. Settling in, even though you're at your edge and there's some physical tension and restriction present. Practice mentally letting go. Good. Attention without mental or physical strain. And then with the inhalation, come all the way out. Good. Face the center of the mat. And then from here, just to uncoil the spine, actually. Rock forward, tuck the toes under, step back into down dog. Good. Couple of breaths. Now be pretty soft with the body for a moment and actually bend the knees. Good. Then as you bend the knees, draw the hip joint up. And let the head for now hang. That's it. Good. We can put the head in slightly different positions in down dog for different reasons, but now let it just be absolutely soothing. Hip joint up and back, skull bones hang. And then nice and slowly, keeping that sense of quiet inside, draw back through the top of your thighs. Good. Practice opening the body and getting nice and fully invigorated in the body without straining or over-efforting. Good. One more inhalation here. Then as you exhale, bring the knees to the floor and take another moment in child's pose. Good. As you return to child's pose, let the weight of the skull on the ground increase. Good. Feel like the brain itself rests on the ground. Again, today's practice more about quieting than efforting or stretching. Place the hands under the shoulders, press the hands down, and roll all the way up to a sit. Good. Then sit with the legs crossed once again. And then from there, stack your right knee on top of your left knee and bring the heels towards the outside of the opposite hips. Yeah. If you want to sit on a blanket, please feel comfortable to do that, especially if the hips have more restriction in them. Good. Right knee stacks on top of left knee. And then just for a moment, take the hands to the top of the feet. Don't force, always a bad idea. Okay, but guide those feet a little bit further back. And if you have resistance in the knee itself, you can just do a cross-legged seated pose instead. Good. Take your thumbs in your hip creases now. And with the thumbs, root down. Good. As the thumbs provide a rooting force, elongate up through the waist, broaden the inner chest. Good. Keep that sense of dropping through the hips. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms up. Good. Grow up through the sides of the body. Soften inside the temples. And then as you exhale, release the arms. Walk forward in the pose. One of the things that inevitably and intentionally occurs in the yoga practice is that we come into contact with the obstacles. So as you feel friction in the hip or you feel resistance in the hips, first, know that it's normal and natural. Second, know that it's actually an asset for you because it gives you a moment in time to be able to pay deep attention. And secondarily, it gives you an opportunity to work through internal challenge, of which we all have plenty. Good. Nice and slowly with the next in-breath, roll all the way back up. And then more or less keep the feet as they are. Just slide the right foot, that's the top foot, to the outside of the bottom knee, foot to the ground. Good. Reach up through the left arm. Good. Keep reaching up through the left arm. Peel open those left side ribs. And then with an exhale, just wrap the left arm around the outside of the knee. Those of you with a little bit more space for movement can take the elbow to the outside of the knee. But if the body feels more restricted, just go arm around knee. Good. Couple of breaths. Nice and smooth, elongate up through the back ribs. Spiral your chest. And very moderately turn your neck. Good. Take the time, take the quiet to simply observe the sensations that are present without trying to change them, without judging them. Good. One more in-breath. Exhale, release the twist. Untie the legs, and then take the second leg on top. And then spend a moment, again, you don't want to force anything to happen in the body, but left knee on top of right knee, heels towards the outside of the hips. And then if that's problematic in the knees or significantly uncomfortable, then just sit with legs crossed once again up on a bolster or a block or a blanket. Take your thumbs into your hip creases once again. Okay, root down. Feel how that deepens and intensifies the release, the stretch of the hips. Feel how it also gives you something to draw up and away from. Interlace your fingers. Press the palms up overhead. Good. Keep the eyes soft and passive. One more in-breath, elongating. Then as you exhale, keep that nice long length. Release the arms and fold forward. Good. Tuck the chin slightly. Relax the temples and the jaws. One of the things that the stretch in the hips allows for is it actually gives us something to breathe into, right? So in a sense, that restriction should remind us to breathe. So in a sense, again, that restriction is in fact a pretty big asset. Good. 2 more breaths. Deepen the hip crease. Lengthen the waist. Bring the breath to the areas that feel restricted. Good. With the next inhalation, come all the way up. Stay more or less how you are. Slide the left foot to the outside of the bottom knee. Reach up through the right arm. Good. Be there for a moment, drawing up through the midline. Then as you exhale, elbow or arm to the outside or around the left knee. Good. Couple of breaths. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana 1. Good. Let the eyes relax in the center of their sockets. Lift the back ribs. Broaden the left collarbone. Chin parallel to the ground. Good. One more inhalation. Exhale. Unwind the twist. Rock forward, make it to all fours. Good. And then from there, you can step back into down dog once again. Good. Couple breaths. In down dog, don't let the nerves, don't let the mind become alarmed, right? Actually let it be a soothing, quieting place. It's effortful to some degree, but make sure that it's not so effortful that there's an internal tension. Good. Let the expansion and the reach of the body have a quieting effect today. Good. One more in-breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to step the right knee forward to the right wrist in pigeon pose. Good. And then in pigeon pose today, make sure that as you lower the hips, both of your hips are equidistant to the floor, so the level. And if you're a little bit tighter in the hips, you can sit up, of course. Good. Now from here, walk the hands forward. Good. Keep lengthening. Good. And then ideally the head comes to the floor, or the head comes to a folded blanket or to a brick. And if you're doing an active practice, a nice strong active practice, it doesn't matter as much where the head goes. But for a quieting practice, we want the head to be in contact with the surface so that the skull can relax and the mind can be soothed. Good. Couple of breaths. Again, postures can always be done slightly differently at different times for different nuances. Good. 2 or 3 more breaths. Let the in-breath wash all the way down into the hips. Good. One more in-breath. And then as you exhale, walk the hands back up. And just step back into down dog. Good. In down dog, practice elongating. Practice drawing the thighs up. Practice softening and hanging the neck for today. Take one more inhalation. And then as you exhale, step the second foot forward, second leg forward in pigeon pose. Good. Now from there, walk forward and come into a fold. If the hips are really pretty restricted, don't force your head to a surface. Obviously, that's not going to invoke a quality that you want to have. Okay, but if the head is close enough to the floor or something near it, go ahead and release it down. Good. Couple of breaths. As you exhale the next 2 to 3 rounds, exhale out of the mouth from deep inside the abdomen, right? And feel actually how exhaling out of the mouth, it depressurizes the system. Right? Especially practicing at the end of the day, you're welcome to exhale out of the mouth. Good. Let the next in-breath bring you back up. Step back into downward facing dog. Practicing getting a nice full elongation, okay, without mental tension, without tension or strain. On the exhale, release down to your knees. Release the forehead, child's pose. Good. Another moment in time. Feel the folding inward. Feel the general quieting of the posture. Good. One more sequence. Walk the hands back. Press the hands down. Roll up to sitting. And then sit, bring the bottom of the feet together in Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Now, for a moment in Baddha Konasana, just press the hands down behind the hips. And from doing so, elongate up through the waist. Then keep that length up through the waist and extend the legs wide apart from each other in Upavishta Konasana. Good. Stay there for a moment. Elongate the legs. Activate and spread the toes. Good. Now from there, take your right hand to the outside of the left shin. Right? And then depending on your body's flexibility, again, you're not like going for these huge poses today. We want it to be soothing instead. For your body's flexibility, walk the hand towards the ankle or towards the outer foot. Or for some of you, you may already be at your edge. You may in fact need to back up, whatever your body needs now. Good. Take another in-breath, lift a little bit taller. And then as you exhale, release forward towards that shin in Parshva Upavishta Konasana. Good. You'll feel a nice elongation through the back and the inner legs, of course, but also most of you will get a nice reach through the right back ribs. Good. 2 more cycles of breath. Let the in-breath wash in and down the body. Good. Then with the next inhalation, come all the way up. Pause for a moment in the center. Reach the heels out. Lengthen the waist up. And again, practice being active but quiet. Good. Then on the exhale, swing the left hand around for the right shin. Stay conservative and moderate at first. Elongate up through the sides of the waist. Turn the rib cage a little bit deeper. And then walk out into a front bend. Okay. I don't advise you spending much of your time or energy worrying about how flexible you are or aren't. But particularly for this sequence, don't let yourself get caught up in this. Right, just a couple breaths. You're moving just to be in the body and to undo some of the restriction that's present. Right, and of course to calm and pacify and soothe the nerves. Good. One more inhalation down the left side body. Good. Then as you exhale, come all the way up. Pause for a moment and center. And then the last forward bend for the practice today. Walk the hands forward in Upavishta Konasana. If the inner thighs or the back of the thighs are more restricted, use your hands to support you in the vertical plane. Right? You don't have to go forward if the body doesn't go there. If the body does go there, though, don't be bashful. Go there, forward bend. Good. Couple of breaths. The legs will reach. The toes will spread. The waistline will lengthen. Right. And for those of you that are very, very open in the posture without strain, it's another nice scenario to rest the head. Good. Last 2 cycles of breath. Let the exhale release out of the mouth. Good. Let that quiet and depressurize the inner body. Good. With the next inhalation, come all the way up. Good. Pause there for a moment. Feel the internal feeling and tone of the postures. Right. And then just to clear that out and balance it, cross the legs, Step back into down dog one last time. Good. Couple of breaths in dog pose. Get a nice full elongation through the waistline. Good. A nice broadness between the shoulder blades and an ease in all the facial skin. Good. Then our big friend and ally in this yoga business. Bring the knees down and take child's pose. Take another moment or so in child's pose, allowing the whole inner body to be soft and quiet and cool. Good. And then nice and slowly walk the hands back. Press the hands down under the shoulders. Roll up to a sit. Fold the palms. Let the eyes soften and or close. Rest the thumbs towards the middle of the chest. And stay here for a few moments in seated meditation, or feel free, of course, to recline in Shavasana. Namaste.